And welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs. That's the wild man, Chris Wilds. And this is our Ohio State position group ranking preview for the 2024 season, Chris. This past Sunday, you hosting the OHIO podcast roundtable discussion on Sunday night. By the way, wonderful job, Chris.
Thank
You
you.
knocked it out of the ballpark like a seasoned vet. In fact, I think I might have you do that more often now. So, uh,
Okay.
plenty of opportunity there. But you were joined by JR and Melo, and together you guys ranked the position groups at Ohio State. And of course, I went ahead and took your rankings and put them in a nice little algorithm, and we came up with a consensus between the three of you. And that's what we're going to reveal in this video today, Chris. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's rock and roll.
Let's go for it.
Number 8. So let me say this, I guess I should say before we get started. You guys did quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, offensive line, and then on the defensive side, you had three: D line, linebackers, defensive backs. So eight
Correct.
total. All right, here we go. Number 8. You guys all ranked the tight ends group at number 8. Of course, Keenan Bailey is the tight ends coach there. Um, I don't disagree with this, although I do think that there is a potential that by the end of the year, we might have a tight end who could be like second team All American, All Big Ten type of tight end, and Jelani Thurman, if it all comes together for him. Also, very interested to see if G. Scott Jr. can finally become an all around good tight end and not just a receiving threat.
Mhm.
So we'll see about that. And of course, you had the big um, transfer Case Merrick. Not been a whole lot in camp buzz about him. However, in Ryan Day's press conference today, that was the first tight end he talked about when asked about the tight ends, which I thought was incredibly interesting. So I think the number 8 ranking here is justifiable.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. A lot of it was just the inexperience, the lack of playing time, and let's face it, a fairly new position coach as well. There's a lot of things there that I think put us in a holding pattern, kind of a wait and see.
Yep. All right, moving on to number 7. Now this is interesting. The offensive line, obviously, with given the fact that Justin Fry is their coach right now, and his inability to, at this point after last season and as a whole, and then recruiting this past off season, there's a lot of stain on this guy right now, you could say. However, there's a lot of buzz that this offensive line is going to be really good this year. And if that happens, and if he lands a big time recruit, then all is forgiven and everything seems to be going in the right direction. But given all of that criteria, and then also I think with what Mello said, I've got to see it to believe it, which is kind of my
Hmm.
mantra on a lot of things. I think that this is justifiable as well.
Yeah, me and Mello had the same school of thought on this. We've heard all the great things coming out of camp, but at the same time, we can't forget what we saw in the Cotton Bowl last year, and he's missed on some recruiting. And right now, it is a wait and see. If he goes out and nails David Sanders here in another less than a week, and his line goes out and performs to the expectations this year or exceeds those expectations, that's going to go a long way in moving this group up closer or even surpassing where JR has them.
Okay. Number 6. I think this is a position group that, when it's all said and done, given the guy here to our right in James Laurinaitis, is going to be the next wide receiver room, cornerback room at Ohio State. The 5-star, all American level, just producing NFL talent left and right. Of course, when you lose two starters who've been starting for 2.5 seasons, and Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers, there's obviously a lot of question marks there. That being said, there's so much talent there that if this guy can mold it and shape it and get it to where it should be, given that talent, if those 5 stars start performing like 5 stars, not only is the Ohio State defense going to be even better than what we even anticipated, which we anticipate the fifth ranked defense or better in college football. They might become, given the linebacker room, they could become the best defense in college football. That's not hyperbole. Hyperbole. That's not that's not me wearing scarlet and gray glasses. If there's a weakness on this defense, it's at the linebacker position, but the talent is there. If they can perform up to expectations, Ohio State has a national championship level defense.
Book it.
Easily.
Book it. They are number one at the end of the season. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is a national championship defense. The only reason this team is so low is because of the fact that we haven't seen it. The inexperience at the position right now, the lack of experience by CJ Hicks, the move by Sonny Styles, the fact that Cody has had limited playing time. I'm telling you right now, the talent's there, the athleticism's there. By the end of the year, this is the number one defense in the
And
country.
don't sleep on Arvell Reese, man. That
Arvell
guy,
Reese is a beast in the making.
yeah, we're talking like old school knock your block off physicality, but can cover. And it's like, wait, what? So there is a beast in the making at linebacker here, and then
Yeah,
they're recruiting really well. Peyton Pierce got his black stripe removed. The coaches just a gush over him. Gabe Powers, the Marysville product, is there, and there's just so much talent there.
young Garrett Stover still in the room. I mean, that's
Is he or is he moved to safety? Like he's one of those guys where
yeah. I think he's moved around a little just to see
they
where
might
they can
have
get
to
him
move
more
him
playing
back
time.
just because the linebacker room's getting that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. This
Shoot,
is going to be a
put him
tremendous
in at
season.
tight end, man. We saw how that went for his cousin, right? Like, come
That's
on.
right.
All right, number 5. This is interesting after today's news. So, JR had him 7th. You and Melo both had this position group at 5. We have the quarterback room. Now, I put Chip Kelly here, even though he's the OC. He's the one working with the quarterbacks now. Um, I don't think that this ranking hinges on whether or not Will Howard is the man. I think this ranking hinges on the fact that you have 5 4-star or better quarterbacks in this room. They all stayed. How that happened, I will never know. I mean, thank you, NIL, I guess, and guys who are just committed to the program. We lost nobody this season
Yeah,
in that room. They're all there. So I think the 5th ranking is justified simply just from that alone. But knock on wood, heaven forbid, if we lose a starter or if Will Howard falls flat on his face, we are in so much better of a position than where we were this time last year. It's not even funny.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you right now, our fifth guy off the bench could start at half the universities in this country.
Oh yeah.
You look at what Chip Kelly, what Ryan Day has done here with this quarterback group, and I'm telling you guys, that fifth ranking is not. It's not relative to the fact that we think they are the fifth best squad as far as talent goes. Or I don't. I guess I don't want to say it like that. It's not that the squad is bad or mid. It's just the fact that there is so much talent in those top four position groups. You know, the worst grade that we gave any of these squads, I believe, was a B or a B minus to the tight ends. This is a stacked team, top to bottom, every group. Our quarterbacks are going to be amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Like I think that there's so much potential here. And don't sleep on the fact that if we get late in the season and Ryan Day sees the writing on the wall in a game, that he doesn't pull the old Nick Satan and whew, I'm going to put the freshman in if it comes right down to it. So um,
And then, which freshman is it?
probably Julian Sane based off of what everybody's saying, but
But you know what? If you've got a goal line package where you need somebody to do some RPO,
I'm all for Aaron Nolan, baby. I
yeah,
am. Number 4, the fact that the wide receiver room is at number 4 in a list of 8 tells you how good the next 3 position groups are. Because Brian Hartline has nothing but 5 stars in his room for the most part, man. Now, Chris, you did put him at second. I probably would have put him up higher than fourth, which is where JR and Melo had him, and that's where they end up falling. But Brian Hartline has not one, not two, not three, not four, five stars in his room,
All
Chris.
legitimate starters right now.
Yeah.
The
And
youngest is the best.
and 2 of them are freshmen.
The youngest of the group is the best. Jeremiah Smith, I told you before, Eric, is the top receiver in the country right now before he catches a pass.
Unbelievable to think about. Unbelievable to think about. Good on Brian Hartline. He just continues to roll, man. Just absolutely continues to roll. Recruits, develops, and Ohio State is A1 healthy. And man, you know things are really good when that's your fourth ranked. Because number 3, let's go back over to the living legend Larry Johnson and his defensive line. Now, I feel like this ranking comes, and all 3 of you had him at third. But I think that this ranking comes from the fact that you had the big 3 decide to all come back for their senior
Absolutely.
season, and really you could put 4 in that category because they could have had 5 defensive linemen drafted last year, and 4 of them came back, and one of them was borderline, but the other 3 would have definitely been selected. And here they are now. They're sitting here, and this defensive line there's no weaknesses. Where are you going to block them? And then if you blitz and you have a blitzing linebacker, I my over under on quarterbacks taken off the field during the game is set at about 8 this year.
Yeah, I can see that because they're going to get rocked. This is a defensive line that is just, um, I mean, between JT and Jack on the outsides, you got Tylee, you got Tehran, and then, man, Eric, you go into the 2 deep, even the 3 deep, you got guys who are going to play. Aiden Curry's going to play, you know. Obviously, Kenyatta Jackson's going to play. And the list just goes on and on. This is such a talented and deep group. I just hope we use a good enough rotation to keep our top guys fresh and get the younger guys plenty of relative snaps
Yeah.
so that come next year when we don't have those 4 guys back, we're not missing a beat.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenyatta Jackson's got to play. Caden Curry's got to play. Edric Houston's got to play. Hero Canu's got to play. These are guys that need to see meaningful minutes because these are the guys who are going to be starting for you next year.
Absolutely.
And if you have injuries, these are guys who are going to start for you this year. So you need to get them on the field before it's an too late moment. I agree with you 100%. I think Larry Johnson's going to do that. Number 2. Now this one I've got a little bit of an issue with you. Now you and JR both said second, and Melo said fourth. And that might be wrong because I think I had you at second somewhere else. So you might have to double
Yeah,
check
I
that
had
with
these
it.
guys at 4th.
Okay, so I got you and Melo backwards. My bad.
Yeah.
Running backs.
My issue is depth, Eric.
It's depth. It's got to be.
That was my issue. Why they were so
I
low. The
I can't
starting guys you can't argue with,
can't argue with that. Those are 2 A1 studs in
but
Trayvon
then
Henderson and Quinshon Judkins.
Coffee goes down. Now you're left with 2 freshmen as your backups. I think they're very talented guys, but we just don't have the experience there. I think Coach Glock will have them ready to play, but there's an experience level issue there that I think number 2 is just too high.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. All right, Chris. Now for number 1, and this shouldn't surprise anybody. All 3 of you guys had him number 1. It's the defensive backs. Tim Walton, coaching the cornerbacks, might as well be coaching the safeties as well. Perry Eliano's moved on. Um, the room is stacked back there. Denzel Burke, Iggy, Caleb Downs, Lathan Ransom, Jordan Hancock, uh, Jermaine Matthews Jr. You got number
Well,
1 recruits
you got
coming in.
Lorenzo Styles Jr. You've got, just so many guys, Eric.
Yeah, it's not even debatable. It, I mean, I guess one could argue the wide receiver room is deep
Yeah,
too, but like they keep saying every time there's a press conference, iron sharpens iron. The way the defensive backs are talking trash, the way they're chippy with the wide receivers this fall. I don't know anybody who's going like when they go up against each other in practice. Legitimately, you will not see anybody this season that talent wise that you don't see in practice every single week.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this team, this position group is amazing, and you can say the same thing about the wide receivers. And the one thing you talked about the iron sharpens iron is if Jeremiah Smith or Emeka Egbuka or Carnell Tate or Ennis or whoever is out there making plays against Denzel Burke, Iggy, Ransom, they're earning everything they get on that. These guys are only making each other better, and the same can be said from the defensive back standpoint. If these guys are shutting down Jeremiah Smith, who I've claimed is going to be the best receiver in the nation this year, if these guys are shutting down Emeka Egbuka, who is a phenomenal talent, going to be a first round draft pick in the NFL. If these guys are shutting those guys down in practice, Eric, my God, what are they going to do against these teams that don't have that type of talent?
Right.
I mean, Melo mentioned it the other night when we did the show. We've got a no fly zone.
Yeah.
It really is a no fly zone. And what's scary is you think about it, typically when you got corners and safeties like that, you're thinking, well, okay, we'll just throw it to the tight end, we'll throw it to the running backs. But now you got athleticism in Sonny Styles and CJ Hicks that can cover, that can get out there and knock the tar out of those guys as they try to come across the middle. Are you going to want to come across the middle if you got CJ or Sonny or even Cody bearing down on you at full speed? I mean, the,
Arvell Reese might put you in the hospital.
Arvell might cut you in half.
So this is it's incredible, and yes, it's true. Iron sharpens iron, and here's the thing: most of your great defensive lines had a great defensive backfield that gave them a little bit more time to get home, and that's going to happen. I
Yes.
think you're going to see the sack total go up for the defensive line, and a lot of it's going to have to do with the fact that these guys in the defensive backfield are absolutely covering everything. And so, yeah, it's a justifiable number one ranking. I agree with you guys. 100%. I think it is criminal how many people are not looking at Ohio State's cornerbacks and realizing this might be the best cornerback tandem in all of college football, coupled with the best safety in all of college football. And oh, by the way, Jordan Hancock and Lathan Ransom are upperclassmen and pretty doggone good too.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a team that, and Eric, you mentioned the sacks going up. Well, as the sacks go up, then you're going to have quarterbacks starting to make mistakes, throwing the ball too soon, throwing it to the wrong place. So the turnovers are going to go up. And we've all seen what some of these guys like Jermaine Matthews Jr. can do when they get that ball in their hands.
Yeah, they have a nose for the end zone.
I mean, this defense, we like to joke about how Iowa's defense scores more than its offense, and that's not going to happen at Ohio State.
No.
But you could see an Ohio State defense that scores as much as an Iowa defense this year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, I believe it. I said it. I said it already. I'll say it again. If the linebackers reach their potential, this is the number one defense in college football. Like, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back Sunday night with another live roundtable. If you want to join us at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's going to be lots of fun. Of course, our call-in shows are on Thursday, and the Buckeye boys are at it again this week. They'll have another great video for you guys. So a lot of good content coming your way every single day here at the OHIO podcast as we continue to ramp up coverage and get you ready for the season. 5 more previews that will be coming your way as well. So make sure you don't miss those to get yourself ready for all Big Ten action in 2024. Chris, till next time, OH.
IO.
Go Bucks.